Assalamualaikum. In this part, we are going to take a look on suggested teaching and learning strategies for the chosen topics. First of all, let's take a look on what is teaching and learning. Teaching and learning is also known as instruction, which is a process of transferring information from teachers to students or learners, where teacher will be imparting information and students will receive knowledge as evidenced by a positive or negative change which lasts for a fairly long time. Then why there is a need for teachers to refer on the SKP when planning for instruction? Well, a teacher needs to refer on the SKP when planning for instruction to ensure the instruction occurred in class achieve the learning standard designated in the SKP by the Malaysian Education Ministry. And learning strategies. It is always important to choose the best teaching and learning strategies during instruction. So here are some examples of teaching and learning strategies that are suitable to be used for the topic chosen. The first one is inquiry. The inquiry-based learning is a form of active learning that starts with posing questions, scenarios, and problems. From these strategies, teachers can help students improve their high-order thinking skill and promote creative and critical thinking. Second, constructivism. Constructivism is a theory in education where recognized learners construct new understanding and knowledge, integrating with what they already know. As example, students know that their body will be thrown forward if they are not wearing seatbelt in a car. Therefore, after they learn about the topic of inertia, the subtopic of inertia, students will construct new understanding that their body is thrown forward due to the effect of inertia. The third one is contextual learning. Contextual learning is a method of instruction that enables students to apply new knowledge and skills to a real-life situation. In this method, teacher can present real-world situation in class and encourage students to make connection between the knowledge they have and their application in lives. The fourth one is mastery-based learning. Mastery-based learning is an approach where students need to demonstrate a deep level of understanding of the topic. For this approach, teachers may ask students to explain a physics concept or see if they can do the involved calculation in particular topic before moving on to the next topic. The next one is problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is a teaching method in which complex real-world problems are used as the vehicle to promote student learning of concepts and principles. This type of teaching strategy is very common in science subjects, especially physics. With problem-based learning, students will determine what they need to learn and where they can acquire knowledge or information and tools necessary to solve the problem. This encourages students to spend more time studying. The next example is project-based learning. Project-based learning is a student-centered pedagogy involves a dynamic classroom approach in which it is believed that students acquire deeper knowledge through active exploration of real-world challenges and problems. The last example is simulation. Simulation is a learning technique that helps develops the ability in an individual regarding problem-solving behavior. In physics, experiment could be classified as simulation technique of instruction as it encourages students to explore theories about how real world works. Okay, the next one is STEM approach. Have you ever heard about STEM approach? What is STEM approach? STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. STEM emphasizes collaboration, communication, research, problem-solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Project-based learning, problem-based learning, and inquiry-based learning are examples of teaching methods for STEM approach. all of these methods are useful, so it might be worth mixing up with lessons using a variety of techniques to keep students interested to learn. To ensure that students have the best learning experience, a good STEM lesson should be hands-on, where students can use their hands. This way, students will be less bored or distracted. Plus, it is rewarding for them to have a final product to be evaluated by teachers. Next, a STEM lesson should mimic real-life scenarios. This will help students learn skills that will immediately useful in the outside world. And lastly, a good STEM lesson should integrate maths and science into projects seamlessly. The maths and science that students complete should be relevant to real-world scenarios. For example, physics knowledge will help them understand how to create something. Due to the outbreak of COVID-19 in early 2020 in Malaysia, all schools in Malaysia had switched from normal teaching and learning (PDP) to online distance learning (ODL), which also known as PDPR, pengajaran dan pembelajaran di rumah. Online distance learning, also known as e-learning, is a form of education in which the main elements include the separation between teacher and students during instruction and the use of various technology to facilitate student-teacher and teacher-teacher communication. Okay, before going any further, let us take a look on some of the normal class activities as per suggested by the SKP. There are discussion, watching videos, experiments, doing activity, case study, and information research. But due to COVID-19, these activities cannot be handled in physical class anymore. Education cannot wait for the outbreak to settle. It has to be go on. So the teachers are urged to use technology platforms during teaching and learning process to ensure that students receive maximum knowledge transfer in class. Suggested platforms to be used for online distance learning. There are many platforms, but here are some of the most commonly used example nowadays: Telegram, PowerPoint, Google Meet, Google Classroom, the website PHET Interactive Simulation, YouTube, Kahoot, and Quizizz. These are all helpful for online distance learning, from sharing of class material, interaction between student-teacher, graphic aids, and assessing students. But how do we do these platforms? How do we use these platforms? How to implement the technology application in class? We will get to know more on the next slides. Suggested teaching strategies and learning activities for Newtonian Mechanics, Chapter 2, Force and Motion 1 from Form 4, and Chapter 2, Pressure from Form 5. The first one is using Telegram for quick notice, announcement, and teacher-student information. Telegram requires low internet speed, therefore it can be accessed by almost every student. With Telegram, teacher can make quick notice and announcement easily. Students can simply ask about their concerns or questions regarding the topic learned. Sharing of class material, link on internet search shared on Telegram could deepen the students' knowledge. With video chat feature, teachers can set up a group discussion. And lastly, using poll feature for quiz after a lesson in Telegram. As example, before the class starts, teachers can make announcement or give notice to students of what should they prepare before the teaching and learning session. Checking on students can be easier as to answer their questions, to guide and facilitate them throughout the topic. Share link to a web search or YouTube videos and ask students to read or watch the YouTube videos. Then have a discussion on the topic. This activity will help develop thoughts in students. Then organize a group discussion through the video chat feature regarding the topic. Make sure students will become more curious and think critically through the inquiry method. Assess students with quiz on the topic before or and after class to check their understanding level. The second one is to create PowerPoint slide for the topic to highlight important point from the textbook. Simplify the topic content from textbook into PowerPoint slides. Include more graphic which can be effective for visual learners. Highlight important terms, formula, physics concepts involved throughout the topic. Add more stimuli to encourage students to think critically. Stimuli such as video and pictures. Provide more examples related to real-life situation so students can relate and understand better about the topic discussed. As example, teachers can include the definition of physics concept and principles like inertia, momentum, force, Pascal's principle, etc. State the formula and show how to use them in solving a question or a problem. Teachers can include stimuli, as example, the picture of aeroplane taking off, and ask them how the lift force is produced to lift the aeroplane into the air. This is an example of inquiry-based learning where teacher poses question to make students curious and wanted to know more. Include mind map at the end of the slides to recap the whole teaching and learning session. The third one is organize synchronous class with Google Meet or Zoom meeting. Google Meet or Zoom meeting are perfect platform for synchronous class. It is suitable for subjects which involve many calculations like physics. Throughout the live, students can ask questions on the spot when they do not understand about the topic or particular part in the topic. And teacher can include more inquiry-based learning and discuss with the whole class to promote active learning. Verbal explanation can be easier to understand by students compared to only reading it from the textbook. As example, during the class, teachers present the PowerPoint slides in Google Meet and teach through it. It will increase the classroom engagement by asking questions on the topic and check on their understanding frequently during the lessons. Throughout the sharing screen, teachers can share picture or video related to the topic and then apply problem-based learning method. Doing a live discussion could help in improving students' high-order thinking skills, and calculation questions are easier to explain during the live class. Students will tend to obtain maximum knowledge by joining live class through Meet or Zoom meeting. The fourth one is to create a Google Classroom for the students. Google Classroom is an online platform to gather your students in one online room. It will streamline the sharing of class material where teachers can arrange the order of post-meet and share easily. Make announcements, share lecture notes, assign assignments, collect attendance and ask questions, all in this platform. Google Classroom is a user-friendly platform and it is common among the teachers or educators. Furthermore, students are also allowed to share their material to the class, and this is a good thing because it will promote active learning where students involved in the class. As example, in Google Classroom, teachers can upload their own learning material or material from the internet in various types of files like PowerPoint, PDF, and Doc. Share link of web search and YouTube regarding the topic force and motion and pressure. Students can discuss with each other on the opinion in the class comment section after doing the activity or problem-solving questions asked by the teacher. Include the application of Google Form in the Google Classroom to assess students' understanding about the lesson learned by creating quizzes. Students can simply submit their work or task with the submission feature. Teachers can also assign an exercise on force and motion and can return feedback on the assignment with marks graded to replace the physical laboratory experiments with online simulation platform and YouTube videos. So simulation experiments can make students understand the experiment better and able to relate with theory learned in class. The aid of visual content from YouTube experiment video will help students understand the concept of physics better. With online simulation platform and YouTube videos, teachers can overcome the problem of not being able to do the experiment hands-on. Teachers should have discussion afterwards as to guide and facilitate students on which part they less understand and to avoid misconception from occur. As example, for the experiment simulation, teachers shall search on the PHET simulation platform and choose the best experiment corresponding to the syllabus. Then share link to the page to the students and ask them to do the experiment simulation. Teachers can ask students to make lab reports prior to improve their understanding in the particular physics concept. Next, for experiment video, teacher should choose the best experiment video which portrays the particular physics concept and ask students to watch the video. For every video, every source shared from the internet, teachers shall have a briefing beforehand or discussion afterwards to ensure there is no misconception occur among the students and also to help increasing their understanding. Last one is to assess students' understanding and knowledge with Kahoot or Quizizz. So creating online quiz can help teachers determine the students' understanding of the topic. Quiz will make the teaching and learning become more interesting and less bored. It increases the classroom engagement as all students will get involved with the activities. If the teacher tells students that there will be a quiz after the lesson, students tend to stay focused during lesson and boost their motivation to learn as there will be competitors among the peers. Result of the quiz can be used as feedback of effective instruction. So the teachers can improve the way they teach if the result is not okay or carry on with the current method if the result is good because quiz result could somehow portray the students' level of understanding. As example of common use platform for quiz are Kahoot, Quizizz, and Google Form. Teacher can make simple quiz consist of multiple choice question, fill in the blank and short answer question from the topic force and motion or pressure. Asking questions about application of physics concept in daily life is good to measure the students' level of understanding. Alright guys, so we have come to the conclusion. Here I shared a quote by Benjamin Franklin. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. So what I'm saying is active learning, student-centered learning has always been effective to nowadays teaching and learning. The proposed teaching and learning strategies I included in this presentation are great to get students involved actively. The role of a teacher is not only to teach but to guide and facilitate students throughout the various learning methods with the goal of the SKP's learning standard to achieve. Today's learning methods are relevant to 21st century learning requirement. The application and relation of what students learn in class and real-life situation is proven effective to produce high-quality students as per required by the National Education Philosophy.